Welcome back, everyone. We're headed into game number 2 between Envy and Liquid, where Envy has pulled ahead in the series after a very close game 1. A lot of that was off of the back of their top laner, the Titan himself, Seraph.
Yeah, right on the front line, 13 KDA, 92.9 kill participation as well on that Maokai. Of course, they already talked a lot about Seraph for good reason, though. He's a huge part of them winning that game. But we can also talk about Laud, the Caitlyn from that game, 41,000 damage. Second highest in the game, and he was able to play from the back line. Makes it a really easy job for an AD carry, though, if you have a front line that is that strong and that secure, allowing you to just continue to auto-attack from the back line.
Yeah, some real sort of trust and patience between those guys. Hey, I'll tank for you if you kill the enemy team.
Deal.
Sounds like good teamwork, yeah.
All right, Dom, let's do it.
Yeah. So again, that's not to say that Team Liquid played badly or anything. They were looking very strong over the course of that game. Phoenix himself was really huge as well.
Yeah, I mean, it kind of just looked like they lost a little bit of their decisiveness. The playmaking was kind of there in the early game. They touched on the analyst desk. It looked like they still wanted to play kind of an aggressive style, but as they transitioned more into the mid and late game, they didn't really want to, make a decisive move anywhere on the map. They were more looking to react. And if you're the team running the Lucian, you're building this Ghostblade, Black Cleaver build, you've got Rek'Sai, you've got a lot of people who can enable. You want to be more proactive, I think.
Yeah, and it does speak a little bit to their new jungler, Moon. A lot of that decisiveness was brought by Dardoch when he was on the roster. So you've got to imagine they're still feeling this out a little.
Yeah, I think it might not. It's also the individual play from Moon was actually pretty good. He got the classic flash unburrows from Rek'Sai. But the component that Dardoch added to the shot calling, all we can really do is guess, what it was, because we aren't, listening in during the entire game. But we like to make assumptions here, and we can assume that part of it, as they've said, was definitely due to him. Take another look as we jump into ban phase for number 2, though. Vladimir obviously not going to be there for a Seraph. Still think that holds its place on the ban list very high for Team Liquid.
Yeah, Azir again banned away from Phoenix. Very comfortable champion for him. A repeat of the bans we're seeing from that last game. Now the next follow-up would be Zyra or Nidalee. And no, in fact, it's Swain. That much respect to Ninja.
Yeah, so even though Ninja was getting isolated and comboed with crowd control and taken down early, they don't want that component of the front line to be there. Obviously, Seraph did get a bunch of kills early, but Maokai seemed like a bit bigger part of the front line that was a bit more troublesome. So we'll see how Team Liquid handle that top lane, because the top lane has not shown up in the ban phase at all here. Both Echo and Maokai still available, and probably one of the two at least will be chosen.
Yeah, we'll see now that Team Liquid have blue side if they decide to go for it. Now the junglers have not been touched yet. This is going to show Team Liquid's hands most of all. Do they ban that Maokai? Do they ban away Kindred or Nidalee? In fact, it's Karma.
So now, now you probably don't ban away the Nidalee or Kindred, because Envy will be looking to take whichever one Liquid do not take on the backside, or nobody early rounds those champions. But yeah, Karma's not going to be there. That support ban is interesting because I was expecting a Zyra ban once again to come through, but that might be the one that's switched out here. And it is going to be the first pick Kindred. Yeah, they're going to insta-lock that one in as it's given over to them by Envy. I think Envy are going to trade for this. Maybe Hakuos put some time in and would like to take that Zyra. We shall see, though.
Yeah, it's up to Envy now picking. They've got very open, and yes, it is Zyra locked in, and the Lucian taken away from Piglet. That Maokai untouched, and it seems like Envy are okay with that.
Yeah, and we've seen, Envy can play early oriented style as well. Laud on the Lucian plus Zyra. If you get snared by the plants, there's a lot of offensive capabilities in that duo lane. And I'm assuming that it is a support Zyra, but there's a possibility that Ninja takes it mid lane. It's a small possibility, but it's there.
Well, she is a little bit stronger after her rework, so we'll see how they decide to pivot around this. Now Team Liquid looking to answer. Are they going to go for those 80 carries or once again show that mid lane nice and early? Instead, it looks like Alistar is being covered by Matt, and the Echo locked in once again.
This is pretty good, actually, for Team Liquid. I feel like having Matt on, a big playmaker like this on Alistar has been, when they've had a lot of success. When he's the one who's able to make a call, hey, we're going in now. He can actually initiate it himself. This could enable some more proactive plays from Team Liquid. It is always kind of scary, though, to go for those initiations onto a team that has Zyra, counter initiation queen. Snare you up inside, get the ult off. Oh, plus Lissandra being added onto it here. I think they'll lock this one in. It's probably not just a hover. Ninja very happy to play that one again.
Some very strong picks out of Envy as Ninja once again goes for the CC-oriented mid laner. And Graves locked in for Proxen. This is starting to look a lot like what we saw from them last night, where the trio of Ninja, Proxen, and Seraph just dove top lane over and over again. Yeah,
and plus, both Lucian and Graves kind of want to play a similar style. They're mid-range. They're going to be dashing forward. They want, Black Cleaver shredding on everybody. And then the Zyra and Lissandra control mage is going to try and lock people down for them. Meanwhile, on the Team Liquid side, obviously, they're going to have the Kindred as their biggest component of power right now. We'll see how well Lorlo can do on this Echo this time around as well. Obviously, they got off to a really bad start with the gank being turned around on him and first blood going over to Seraph. So he gets another try at the Echo this time around. Let's see if he can.
And Team Liquid now looking for their mid lane. It's going to be LeBlanc locked in for Phoenix. And Piglet going to that Ezreal. We talked about it a little bit during the last Champions League, but this time we actually get to see it. So now, save that final pick for the guy who got player of the game in the previous game, Seraph in the top lane. Maokai's still open.
Yeah, I mean, Maokai's open. That could round out the team fighting for them. Or they could opt for the Seraph split push. He's very invested in that playstyle. Echo is not really one that has a lot of weaknesses, though. So Echo's pretty happy taking any kind of 1-versus-1 matchups that you look for. But, the Trundle's there for him. It's a possibility they could set that one up with. Oh, nice.
And the switch up at the last second. Kassadin is going to be locked in. And that Lissandra is going to Seraph.
All right. See if we can lock down the Echo. I want to see how Seraph plays this matchup as well. Let's see. With the Ezreal plus Alistar, maybe there's even a lane swap coming in. But mid lane Kassadin to fight the LeBlanc. That's the main counter pick here. They were able to use the Lissandra, flex pick, and Ninja's going to be able to utilize the Q shield early and often with Kassadin, have it take those trades with LeBlanc, and try and get some mid lane control to open up this jungle for Graves.
Yeah, some very confident choices for Envy as they look to seal off this second win. And we're running through the rosters right now. You can see them with those compositions. A little bit more flexibility from Team Liquid this time around, a little bit more aggression. We'll see if they can capitalize as the coaches get ready and shake hands.
Yeah, they do have more possibility for dives now. I would actually like Phoenix to change because he was hovering on Ignite in the mid lane with the LeBlanc, and we saw the discrepancy in teleports actually be a really big factor for Envy gaining that map advantage.
Yeah, we'll see how that works out. But don't forget to update your Twitter votes. Use the hashtag NVWin or hashtag TLWin to show your support for these teams as we get ready. So too are the players. Envy looking so very strong, and Team Liquid, after a little bit of a shakier game, they're looking to get a lot more aggressive with this dive style. Try to make a little bit more happen this time around.
Yeah, I mean, Alistar, Echo, even Kindred, you can utilize that ult to open up some possibilities. And it looks like Phoenix has changed his second summoner spell. It will be teleport to try and match Ninja here on the Kassadin rather than going for the Ignite. Because Kassadin can play defensively in this matchup very easily. Just constantly you can spam out your Null Sphere, and then you just get mana back with Netherblade constantly. And if you can ever get that melee trade with LeBlanc, then you're sitting very pretty. Kassadin just likes to play in the minions because LeBlanc's going to try and use her range advantage. But if Kassadin plays the early levels well, and his jungler enables him to get to the level 6, this could be sitting in a very happy place.
Yeah, you can see Lorlo dancing around right now as he's ready for this match, but Lorlo is actually going to share his thoughts on facing Envy's solo laners.
I think Seraph and Ninja together just like are pretty powerful like duo because they make plays around the map together and they both are really strong in lane so they can like impact other lanes as well. So those two things together make them pretty impactful players.
Definitely looking at early snowball here. They both have the teleports, and we saw the early reactions out of them before. Last game, Ninja was the one teleporting to Seraph to turn that first blood for them and really determine the entire first stages of that game.
And we might be able to see that once again as they've got the aggressive fighters, I should say, with some crowd control with Proxen once again on that Graves that he seems to be so comfortable on. Lane swap is initiated by Envy. This time it's not answered by Team Liquid. And this is going to be Lod coming into lane with all of his summoner spells.
Yay for him. That feels good. Both dual lanes taking Krugs, though. Pretty mirrored starts here for very standard lane swaps right out of the gate. Seraph on Lissandra. You are going to be able to explode her Q, try and get those minions. He's able to get 2 of them, both of them actually snagging 2 before running away. He might take some damage here, but Lorlo should be able to just walk away fine. Yeah, no problem there. And both top laners now to go join their junglers in the... Oh,
Hey.
Matt takes 20.
Just a bit of experience there. And he's going to continue to turn around undaunted as the junglers invade. Matt's actually going to go pretty deep onto this.
Yeah, you don't have to be as worried because Lissandra's just going to sit there as level... Ooh, can Matt have the burst? No, Proxen's got his smite. No problem, and they will continue. Phoenix actually going really aggressive, trying to get those charges. In these trades, it's so important to start chugging your Corruption Potion as you start the trade so you can get the extra damage when you're firing back. Cassidy only has that one opportunity. You have to have it chugging while your Null Sphere goes out so that you can get the extra burn there. Otherwise, LeBlanc is going to continue that shove, get you under turret, and this is how she tries to get a CS lead early on. You know, the early levels is where she tries to take advantage of the range advantage. As long as Cassidy's able to CS decently in this stage, feels very, very good about transitioning to post 6 level.
Yeah, he's got a really big minion wave building up right now that he should be able to catch rather healthily. Moon is going to secure that Scuttle Crab before he catches up with the rest of his team to look for that tier 1 shove as the rest of Team Liquid in the bottom lane, Envy in the top, doing the same thing.
Yep, very standard here for both sides on the lane swap. Doesn't look like anybody's too far ahead either. Both going to kill it on the same minion wave, and Envy's actually not going to be able to bounce this. Look, this is going to go down very quickly. So Seraph's going to probably try and shove another wave. Let's see if he decides to go all the way into turret, because you really, if you go for this, you got to get it into the second turret to try and have those minions dive. Piglet's going back to try and catch them now, whereas Lorlo does get the freeze for Team Liquid, so he's happy about that one. And there, it should be easy for Lissandra.
He's sitting on it.
Oh,
Hey, got the cannon.
good enough.
He was waiting.
All right, Piglet got there in time for the experience, and actually 2 gold, or 2 minions worth of gold. Mid lane gank.
Roxin. Oh,
Got him.
the stereotypical, wow, LeBlanc gank actually pops her passive there.
Yeah, not too big of a deal, actually. You know, cooldown's pretty low on that early on, and don't see a lot of aggression coming out too early, so Phoenix should be just fine. Plus, he can collect all these minions. You know, he's got his minion lead in the Cassidy matchups, as he should have it early from the extra range advantage. But Ninja's getting to that post-level 6 world pretty quickly.
Currently level 5 on this recall. He actually picks up the Dark Seal for more sustained boots and a Ruby Crystal, so looking to sustain in that lane. Not going to teleport back in. Decides to head back, and Envy once again looking for the quick turret trade. They send themselves bottom, and Team Liquid doing the same top. Lurlo's going to be a bit late.
Yeah, maybe a 2-second lead for Envy right now in the lane swap. Manifesting itself. But look at Zyra's plants, tanking tower shots, making sure that they can increase that 2-second lead to maybe 3 seconds.
Yeah.
Piglet, though, on the Ezreal. Essence Flux going to speed up attack speed for everybody as well. They're going to be actually more than a few seconds behind on this turret kill. So that means there probably won't be much of a move there. Let's see if Envy can actually get this one down into the second turret as well. And these minute little things where they have the pressure, yeah, they never try and bounce. They always just try and continue to shove into second turret. And it's going to open up an opportunity for Dragon. Looks like there's no counterplay here from Team Liquid because Envy were so much quicker on that tower take. And 3 tower shots from the Zyra plants is actually fairly significant. Meanwhile, though, Lorlo does get his freeze on the top side.
That's going to be the first Dragon of the game now going down to Team Envy as Lurlo, as you mentioned, gets his freeze, so he should be able to catch some minions there. 4 tier 1 turrets down, 7 minutes into the game. Now everyone is going to head back towards their native environment. Lod and Hakuho heading bottom to catch up with Piglet and Matt.
All right, so let's touch on this a little bit more because it's so calm right now. Nobody's really getting excited about that dragon being taken, but the Ocean Drake is actually the best early game Drake. All right, Ninja post level 6 going in.
Yeah, Phoenix forced a flash as Proxen burns his own. And
All
suddenly
right.
there's 4 members of Envy in the mid lane.
So Infernal Drake, obviously you would always rather have that, but Ocean Drake is so good in the early game because of the amount of regeneration it gives. If you just look at what the old Chalice of Harmony used to give, 2% of your missing mana, people paid 700 gold for that passive if you take out the base stats of the item on there. And Ocean Drake gives that, yes, only 8 seconds out of combat, which is the big nerf that it got and why it's not as highly valued, but it switches back and forth between mana and health. Ninja's, yeah, he's casting, he can just jump out of that. Anyways, in the early game, it's huge, especially for junglers, because you don't come into combat with champions very often as a jungler, and enables you to sustain so well. Whoa, he's actually going down!
Oh my gosh!
It was off screen. All right, we'll take another look at that because he's casting in. He's not okay. Had to use the flash, and he still goes down. Moon comes up huge.
Wow.
Whoa, yeah, we need to revisit that. What happened?
Yeah. Moon just says, hey, you guys thought Dardoch was aggressive. How about this?
All right, the Kindred pick getting the first blood is very big for them. Matt actually waiting around the
Oh,
corner.
the flash knock up. He's going to find Laud. Flashes back, doesn't make it over the wall.
Moon's
Laud's
low.
gone, but Phoenix misses the binding. And this is now Laud on top of the respite. Moon is in the front line. He goes down as Ninja gets revenge. And there goes a chase from Seraph. He snares 3, stuns another. Piglet's low. He's going to go down. The cleanup from Envy.
Revenge in a very big way. Team Liquid get a little bit overhyped there after that first blood kill. And they're not able to finish off Laud before Moon has to use his Lamb's Respite. He wanted to save himself, but they didn't get the kill on Laud first, and so he stays up. Kassadin still has teleport. Ninja gets to come back and gets a revenge for himself, and they actually take the lead off of this play. All right, so there it is. They go in. Moon actually uses the mark on Zyra instead of Lucian. He didn't get 3 hits off anyway, so it wouldn't have mattered, but man, yeah, Laud survives. Moon goes down anyway, so it's the worst of all worlds for Team Liquid. And a huge cleanup. Kassadin now going to be snowballing. This is great news for Envy fans, but heartbreaking for Team Liquid.
A little overzealous there, and they ended up paying quite the price for it. 10 minutes in. It's only 1,000 gold in favor of Envy, but as you mentioned, they do have that early game stacking dragon, so.
And all of the kills went on their solo laners. The Kassadin gets snowballing early. Both these guys are building into Rod of Ages. That's going to boost the snowballing there. They're going to start stacking even quicker. And a lot of playmaking ability. Now, Team Envy just want to sort of wait and play a bit more cautiously while Phoenix has teleport advantage. They just have to worry about this LeBlanc, especially Zyra. For many seasons, Zyra has been a prime target for mid lane LeBlanc players. Zyra does put out a lot of damage, but the defense is definitely not there for her.
And the worst was being that Zyra, and the best thing you could do was, oh, well, I have my passive.
Now you can't even do that!
Yeah, it's gone!
Rough
We're
life.
making that matchup feel even better now. As Team Liquid try to reset and recuperate after that. Again, those tier 1 turrets are still gone, so this is opening up Ninja to get a lot of free time in a solo lane of his own, while Laud and Hakuho relatively safe for now. Just going to continue farming up and shoving in this mid lane. And Piglet's actually called over to help catch some of these minions.
Yep, they've already got deep pink wards in as well. Seraph actually going to get tagged here. The Kindred's coming in, but so are reinforcements, so he feels just fine to continue to shove it up. And Envy just hold on to their map control. 2 outer turrets down here. Actually, all 3. Oh, Hako, that's going to give away that you have a pink ward in there, but it's worth. They're able to take down that green as everybody circles around mid lane. They want to crack this last outer.
Ooh, Seraph was looking for one, but didn't find it. Piglet, once again, taking some harass under the turret. As now it's Envy running the game. Ping's now going down onto that Scuttle Crab.
Ooh, he's doomed!
Yeah, I thought it was going to be the Rift Herald. I was like, oh, they're going for... No, that's just the...
Did you know Rift Herald used to be a Scuttle Crab? He was corrupted by the evil powers emanating from Baron's pit. It's the only bit of lore I've read in the last year. Scuttle Crab knowledge, boys. Oh, and it comes to effect here. Look at that. It's pertinent information. Current events right now going on. Scuttle Crab, evil Scuttle Crab, basically, going down to Envy. And we actually see it taken so rarely. It's mostly by teams that are just so far ahead, they don't have a lot left to do, and so they're just going to take it because it is there. But it is a significant buff. All right, so Lorlo's actually going to try and make him pay for it. Seraph might be the one to actually pay that cost.
Oh, no claw, and he gets shut down by Moon.
All right, so they bought that buff with the life of their top laner. Seraph goes down. Proxen will enjoy some corruption bonus damage onto jungle minions because it does charge up when you're away from enemy champions or your own teammate champions, and that happens very often with junglers.
So Seraph has just purchased the GLP 800.
Big fan. Teleport actually
Haku.
available for him as well. He does use it, but Haku's already dead.
It's in a bit late. Seraph trying to get in there, locks down Moon. They killed him before he could drop the respite. Matt follows. It's a 1-for-2 trade, about to become 3 as, whoa, Lorlo makes it back to the far lane.
Yeah, the old Echo.
The panic button.
Oh, right back out. Yep, don't want to be there anymore as 2 people got annihilated. Plus, another kill on the Kassadin. Dream opening here for Ninja, except for that, wrinkle where he gave up first blood and died. We didn't even see how that happened, so everybody's starting to forget about that. Really what they're focused on, 3 kills for him. Rod's been stacking. He's got 7 stacks on his Dark Seal, by the way. I actually think he's going to turn that into the Medjai's, and it will be very potent. Anyways, Zyra, the most important thing you can do after you die, get your ultimate off first. He does get the delay, and Seraph, man, the confidence there to go for the flash ult and that they have the damage to finish him off before the Kindred can answer. They just barely got Moon before he got out of that CC and was going to try and spam Lamb's Respite, but doesn't get it off. Envy take a very decisive Dragon number 2 here. The second Ocean Drake, much less valuable because it does fall off as the game progresses because they're just going to try and fight champions a lot more often. And at this stage in the game, you really want those running from the mountains, obviously.
So Hakuho, you can see at half health. He did have to flash during that replay. Phoenix found him and said, oh, I remember this matchup, LeBlanc versus Zyra.
All right, well, half health and no flash now.
Oh, and Phoenix!
Oh, that's still got him
the corrupting!
Wait, what?
Oh, the corrupting potion on Phoenix didn't burn through Hakuho's health.
Hakuho uncorruptible. He survives. This tiny burn from the corruption potion isn't enough. Woo! Heartbreaker there again. Play after play here for Team Liquid. They just can't catch a break.
Yeah, so very close, but Envy continuing to stack up now as they've got Ninja getting bigger and bigger as this game goes on. Next dragon looks to be an air dragon as that spawns, so we'll see if Envy continue to prioritize this as Proxen cleans up his red buff. Gonna clear out some vision as well. Ninja now finally catches up with Lot in the mid lane just to get a bit of damage onto the tier 1. They're not quite able to drop it down just yet.
Once again, though, Team Liquid, they're playing on the back foot. They have to play defensively. Now they have to concentrate on defensive warding. They have to wait around for the other team to make mistakes again. This is not where they wanted to be. After last game, they really wanted to take a proactive approach, but all these kills early for Envy means they have complete control. Zone them off with the culling so you easily finish off that turret. And that's going to be Envy going back to purchase, refill their... oh wait, they don't even have a... yes, they do. Scuttle Crab control for them as well. Yeah, pretty much control of the entire map.
Yeah. Very slow game for Envy as they look to expand their advantage. I mean, in game number 1, they were really taking their time with it, but this time around, they're much more comfortable making aggressive plays.
Yeah, and I mean, Team Liquid, there's not a lot of opportunity for them to make a pick. You know, LeBlanc burst is something you can hope for to try and get back into the game, but there's so many wards here for Envy all across the map, through mid lane even. They're keeping track of Phoenix this entire time. We just saw before, even when he did get the repeat attempt on Hakuho without Flash, still wasn't able to take it down. So there are very few options here. And at the moment, Team Liquid just trying to farm and hold on, you know, hope for an Envy poor dive. Phoenix there, showing you still have to respect the burst.
Yeah. That Abyssal Scepter doing some serious work for him. As Hakuho catches up in the mid lane for a few minions, and Ninja happily going to receive those. Once again, Piglet opening up with a CS lead over Laud, but if the game goes another 50 minutes, that CS lead isn't going to matter once again, so we'll see how Team Liquid decide to play that one out.
Yeah. It already almost doesn't even matter with the 4 extra... Ooh. Seraph starting something off by himself, and a very, very scared Lorlo flashes early. He doesn't have a lot of vision coverage, but playing it extremely safe there.
Yeah. Ninja did have his teleport.
It's actually a very big cooldown for Echo because people really underestimate the stuns that you can get with parallel convergence. Often they're super difficult to land. Flash makes it a lot better. Oh, Piglet taking fire, though.
Oh, the culling isn't quite enough to shred through.
They got to run, though. Everybody's converging. This Kassadin is on the way. He's stacking Riftwalk as well.
He's at about half health, but that's more than enough to kill that squishy Ezreal. Matt trying to catch it. Looks like this is where Team Liquid are going to make their stand.
Cornered.
Backs against the wall. Seraph, he has his flash. Let's see if he decides to go in. There he goes. He finally catches up. Immediately the respite gets dropped and Seraph gets knocked out. It's 5 versus 5 right now as Envy set up the battle lines, force the summoners out. Seems like they decide to back off.
Huh. Okay. Well, Team Liquid, very early Lamb's Respite. They do back off. That's what they wanted. They wanted to disengage there, and they are able to escape with their lives. Plus, some of the ward coverage is timing out. The pink wards are still providing a very secure line here, though, as Phoenix was seen entering their jungle, so they know he's somewhere around there. There's only 2 brush that he could be waiting in.
19 minutes in, this dragon is about to spawn once again. This is about to become an air drake, cloud drake. So we'll see which team ends up taking that one.
Air.
Yeah, there is a lot of vision right now around the pit for Team Liquid, but once again, Envy are already in the area, and after a fresh recall, they've got pink stocked up.
Yeah, this is one of those classic drakes where everyone's like, okay, it's just an air drake. No way are we fighting over this for Team Liquid. And Envy are like, are you sure? Huh? You want to come fish around? Matt's actually coming around. Team Liquid are going to contest this air drake, or at least position accordingly.
Yeah, there's no Lamb's respite.
Smite fight, maybe?
Roxanne is going to secure it. Seraph zones away in the front as parallel convergence keeps Envy back, and looks like they're going to trade this mid-tier 1 turret for that 3rd Drake.
Well, I think they could have been pushing mid a lot earlier. So this turret's at full health, and Envy are very happy to collapse on it and try and take this fight, actually. So I don't think you even get the turret.
Oh, seems like they're set to collapse. Seraph goes in a bit too far. He's forced to ult himself. Ninja cleans up Matt, and Seraph backs away while Laud looks for Moon. There's no respite here as Laud chases him down. The rest of Liquid take a lot of damage. It's a 1-for-1 trade as the support goes down, shut down by Phoenix. And Laud, oh, he's still chasing, but can't quite catch up.
Woohoo! Ninja there trying to keep the chase alive and actually does trade, but very risky move there from Kassadin because no one else could follow up with damage, so he was just going for the slow to hope that everyone else could get in range, but all flashes blown except for Hakuho to try and follow up on that, and they do end up getting their secondary turret.
Yeah. That ends up being a 1-for-1 trade when it's all said and done, but that tier 2 has been dropped only 20 minutes in.
Yeah, so let's look at this questionable re-engage on the Lissandra. This is kind of the same thing I talked about before, where Seraph made a very aggressive move to all in the Kindred and try and burst Kindred down within a CC combo so he can't get the ult off, the life-saving ult. Same thing here from Team Liquid. They tried to do that move on Lissandra, but Seraph got it off. They weren't able to finish him off. And if Lissandra gets that off, plus now she has the added healing with the ultimate, so everything goes for them there. It's a very risky turn to make on a Lissandra like that. But the costs, I mean, you're already so far behind. Maybe that's why they have increased acceptance for risk here from Team Liquid on their decision making for whether or not to make these plays.
Yeah, this really has been a game of inches for them, and every time it's coming up Envy. 3 Drakes now, 21.5 minutes in. They're up 5,000 gold by taking all of these turrets and just securing the outside of the map. The solo lanes for Envy looking so very strong.
Yeah, it started out pretty well for Team Liquid. They're so happy to get their first blood. But again, they got a little bit anxious. And this is another story where Envy, even after an early hiccup in the game, they strike back very quickly. They're able to stay calm, and man, have they taken over.
Yeah, Matt on that playmaking Alistar, not quite able to do as much as he'd like this time.
Now there are so many options. Envy, they can 1-3-1. They've got 2 of these playmaking teleport mages that they can send wherever they want. Team Liquid don't really have someone that's going to pick you off and solo you. Maybe if Phoenix has Fog of War and he's got someone with him, then you have to be really scary. A red buff on Ezreal is intimidating, but they don't pressure it. There's not a lot of extra vision for Team Liquid. They don't feel like going too hard on that bottom lane.
Seraph, Envy right now, clearing out vision around that Baron buff. Seraph was waiting over in the mid lane.
Yeah, I think they just need to keep up the 1-3-1 pressure. They can slowly move up these ward lines. You see there's a lot of pink wards actually standing for Team Liquid in contested area. Those are ones that Envy can try and move up to. They can press up to try and take that down. If you take down that line of comfort, then it becomes so much easier to bait the Baron. Right now they are doing the 3-1-1, basically same strategy, and trying to move in to clean this up. A lot of wards being spent around Baron, so they can try and transition over to bait that and use the Lissandra to set something up. It's also very scary to face check a Zyra team.
Oh, True Shot Barrage is going to find Hakuho. As once again, the vision game is the setup for the 2. Ninja splitting on the far side with teleport. He's going to be caught by Lurlo.
Lurlo able to get the stun off, but
and he's actually going to chase this down. Who's stickier, a Kassadin or an Echo?
an Echo.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, definitely. Ninja can get away, but definitely takes a beating. He's actually happy to take that. All in all, Lurlo lost some minions on the turret. Ninja not really scared of dying to the chase of the Echo. And actually just takes that beating for some minions dying.
24 minutes in, Envy are allowed to play the game that they want, taking it slow, setting up vision, taking their time, and just waiting for Team Liquid to make a mistake. And time again.
Really, I think it's Team Liquid who are the ones waiting, because they're behind. They're the ones that have to play defensively. They don't really have options open to them, right? Envy do pretty much have the entire map, so they should be the ones looking for the proactive plays. Like we said, try and pressure. You've got the 2 mages, very powerful right now, plus they both have their teleports. So if you gain that map control and try and clear out some of these pink wards that are actually sticking really well for Team Liquid, then you can force more of these vision-oriented plays, these Fog of War plays where you try and pressure them, you try and collapse in with a Seraph teleport, Lissandra locks people down, and you get your fight. But that being said, Envy, they don't really have a true tank for the front line. They rely on this crowd control. They rely on these invulnerabilities from Lissandra to actually hold front line zone control. Team Liquid are going to force at the mid turret.
Yeah, clear out the minion wave, make sure that thing is safe for now. As Team Liquid back away, they've got vision. Dragon's up in 10 seconds. Moon's already on that side, but Envy are playing to the other side, feigning a Baron. If you guys take your first dragon, we'll take that Baron.
Yeah, and that dragon is just a wind drake, by the way. So that's why Envy aren't putting a lot of stock into that side of the map. They don't really care too much about that drake. Ooh, Seraph Claw down, so the initiation actually not there, and Team Liquid can take that opportunity. Knowing Claw's down. Ooh. Oh, he flashed, and they still got him. Nice follow-up there from Piglet to get the snipe.
It's the 1-2 combo, and with it, they're able to take down Hakuho and that tier 1 turret. Now Ninja's looking for a flank. And instead, decides to group up with his team and clear out these minions. Lurlo, though, is still split pushing on that bottom side.
Yeah, so that should probably be the win drake. I don't even know if they want to spend time taking it, though, because Envy are actually threatening the Baron. Yeah, good scrying orb there from Team Liquid. They're so far behind, they have 4 scrying orbs, even after the nerfs. But they get collapsed under the turret. Matt has no ultimate too, by the way. They still have numbers advantage, though, because Lorlo's ready with teleport, and he's actually walking over.
Turret's still going to go down for Envy. That ties it up a bit. Still a 3,000 gold lead for Team Liquid. But Team Liquid are clawing their way back in.
Crucial push there from Team Liquid. They do have the tank front line. If they can just get some money funneled in there, you know, try and get Lorlo to catch back up on this Echo, even up, or at least get some extra money to try and deal with this CS disadvantage. Because Envy right now, they were just waiting on, you know, Zhonya's completions. Kassadin's already got Zhonya's completed, and Lissandra will have one soon. So there are a lot of opportunities for Envy to go for some of these deep plays with the double mages. Meanwhile, they do have the Locket of the Iron Solari already. Matt's rushed that correctly after the early start. It's a double AP plus a basically triple AP, with Zyra support being one of the most fearsome AP supports and sources of damage that are in the game at the moment. Definitely need your magic resist if you're on Team Liquid.
Team Liquid, once again, trying to contest Envy's vision. Lurlo down about 50 CS, but still keeping pace in this game as Phoenix is doing rather well for himself up in CS. Pretty moderate amount of kills as well. Solo lanes for Liquid are feeling strong, and in fact, the Baron now is going to be started out by Envy.
So while you can use invulnerabilities, okay, here come the teleports. Never mind, we got action.
Yeah, Seraph goes way too deep. He's caught out. Lurlo is going to pop back. Seraph is going to be knocked up. Let's see if he will be able to keep himself alive. They drop Matt before he gets a chance to do anything. Envy clean up one with the double teleport.
Oh, Seraph actually in the mid lane is going to have to back off. He's very low. He still does have his ultimate, though. He held on to that one. I believe he still has his Zhonya's active as well. So very calm in the face of a blinking red health bar for himself. They do get their pick, but it's just the support in the lowest level. Level 9, you get right back out onto the field really quickly. So Matt is upright, and that was the teleports used from both Seraph and Lorlo. Now it's just going to be Ninja to try and pressure side lanes now. I think you return to that strategy, though. You have Ninja pressure the side lane, you know, go over to Baron, clear out that vision once again. You know, face checking into Zyra Lissandra is very scary. There's plenty of damage for them to follow up on that CC as well. The only thing for Envy is that they don't have that true tank, as we said. You know, you can use these invulnerabilities of Lissandra to try and create zones in a team fight, similar to what a tank does, but you can't tank Baron with those.
Yeah.
Someone's going to get hit with acid.
Very important for Envy to play that out correctly, and so far Team Liquid have not let them. Constantly fight over the vision, constantly dropping those pink boards.
Oh! Matt constantly dying.
Yeah.
The cow is down. And he'll get back up, but it's going to be 25 seconds.
Ninja is going to dash forward. He looks for Moon. They're able to lock him down. He actually gets out and is able to pop his Lamb's Respite, but Flash is even going to be used. Not quite sure if that was some value, but 5v3 right now. Envy pulled the trigger on this Baron.
Yeah, this is all Envy. This is a very desperate play from Team Liquid. They're just going to go Hail Mary.
Lurlo hops in. Ninja and Seraph get out. Hakuho is going to drop on the far side as Phoenix goes a bit too far. He's going to drive. Lurlo's over the wall. He still has the relocation. Let's see if he can get back in. No, he decides to let it go. They get one kill at a cost of 1, but that's Baron to Team Envy.
Yeah, Team Liquid, basically, you could just smell the desperation on them there. They're like, you know what? We've been taking a beating all game long. We're going to go for this Miracle Baron steal. They don't quite get it. They did take down the support. Small moral victory for them there, I guess. But Matt, man, he just gets annihilated. His ultimate's not up because he just died so quickly in the last time. And then the second pick there, that's the teleport we talked about on Cassidy, still up with the home guard. So Ninja comes in, and as you know, the story ends with, yes, they kill Hakuo, but Envy happy to sacrifice him to Baron Nashor for his buff. Ninja actually had, I wish we would have kept the camera down there because that looked like a more interesting 1v1 with Piglet and Ninja. The Cassidy and Ezreal 1v1 actually does involve a lot of skill shot dodging.
Yeah, flash out of the Zonias and Rift Walk onto Ezreal's face.
5-on-5 at this point is just not a fair fight, so one-on-one's maybe a little bit more interesting to watch.
A little more balanced. Dragon number 4 now going to be taken by Envy. This is another Cloud Drake. That's 30 bonus move speed to Envy on top of that regeneration.
Yeah. Unlucky though, all of these dragons that Envy have got only help you out of combat. And they want nothing more than to be in combat. Yes, that move speed out of combat will help them get into it maybe. Hopefully they can speed into some engagements, I guess. But yeah, really the hardest part of the game still left for them, I guess. Cracking inhibitor turret line. Many a team have failed before.
Well, they do have the Baron buff for now, and Seraph has teleport, so they're actually trying to see if they can sneak their way back and pick off a valuable target as Ninja's bottom. True Shot Barrage says, hey, I see you guys, Envy. We've got vision of the jungle.
I would actually encourage Envy to split up more, to utilize these Baron buffs to push more sides. You know, especially since Seraph does have his teleport.
Yeah.
And he actually is going over there to do that. So they make the call, like, you know what, we're not getting anything done grouping up here. And Seraph does move over. Good job realizing that.
You might actually be able to get this. Here comes Moon. Clears out a couple of the minions. Actually, most of the members of Team Liquid. That's going to leave the tier 2 undefended down bottom and Envy collapse on.
Yeah, good push and pull here from Envy. There's actually a huge minion wave on top turret as well. If Seraph wanted to go buff up that minion wave, you get a lot of DPS out of buffing up a big wave like that, just letting them attack the turret. But mid is almost down already, and they are able to claim it everywhere. Team Liquid are losing structures.
Yeah, the turret drops once again. Envy putting some pressure onto the next inhibitor turret in that top lane. I feel like we saw a bit of this last game as Envy look to break it down. Seraph has got enough damage. Ooh. Oh, Phoenix actually hops in.
Lag. Yeah. Whoops. Yeah, I was about to talk about, oh yeah, Seraph, he's also got that elixir. Anyways, it's a full burst there on Phoenix, and nobody even gets excited for the kill.
Yeah, Team Liquid look like they're just giving this up as their entire map is falling apart. There goes the Stranglethorns, not going to quite separate the fight enough. That's 2 inhibitors down. Seraph is working on the 3rd. This is a huge Baron power play for Envy, and they found Piglet. He's dead too. They might just try to end the game right here. Moon gets caught and drops the rest, but Envy are not satisfied with just the inhibs. They want the Nexus. That's another 2 kills. Lorlo is the only one alive, and Envy are looking to win the game right here and right now.
Dominating performance from Envy. They do lose a couple members at the end, but they should be able to finish it with the help of the minions. And they do claim their 2nd series victory here. Undefeated in week 1 of the North American LCS. This new team that was thrown together with pieces, and they have just come together in an incredibly strong way. Very, very good start for them. After yesterday, people were saying, oh, it was just energy, and energy were looking a little bit rocky, but no, this was a very, very convincing series from Envy, and they are setting up to have a very good split in the North American LCS, especially for a very new team.
Yeah, some very patient play, clean, crisp actions all across the map. These guys are looking so strong, and Envy, you know, we talked a little bit to Seraph yesterday about the best of 3s, and really his team seems to be thriving in them. Even in all of these different situations that they find themselves in, they take the time, they think it out, and they find the correct answer to whatever the enemy team is doing.
I really like how, you know, versatile their solo lanes are as well. You know, they talked about it in the video we had earlier, but Seraph, he's he's been in North America for a very long time. He's put in a lot of work over here, and I really enjoy watching the progression that we've seen for him throughout his career over here in North America. And him ending that last game, level 18, highest in the game, making big plays on Lissandra, even got the 100% there on Phoenix counter kill.
Some very good damage. Team Liquid played well with Moon. They show that they still are capable of competing. Unfortunately, they did go down 0-2 here, so we'll see if they can pull it back together because they had the right idea. They really put Moon on that Kindred. They gave him some damage. They tried to play a little bit more playmakers.
Got first blood.
Yeah, he did. He did get first blood as well. They put Matt on a playmaker as well, but just weren't quite able to.
0-6 there. That was a very rough game for Matt. You know, it's one of the things that they also always talked about, how Matt and Dardoch came as a package, you know, from the challenger team, and those are the two guys that they moved up as a combination. You know, they both lended a hand with the shot calling. You know, they talked a lot. They were, you know, pretty close. But yeah, it looks like there are definitely a lot of problems for Team Liquid that they need to work through right now after the troublesome offseason that they had.
Yeah, and Team Envy on the other side, though, to go back to those solo lanes, you know, the fact that they're so confident in their communications, just buying so much time for Laud in, it seems like every engage. Seraph is so strong, Ninja is so confident, and Laud just has to not die, and he kills everyone.
That's a great job.
I mean, we did talk about it a little bit earlier. You've got the tank saying, hey, if I keep you alive, you kill everyone?
Yeah, and this game, you talked about, you know, them being a bit more flexible. This game running the two mages that rely on invulnerabilities rather than having a sure tank showed a little bit more, you know, flexibility from the team, which is great.
Well, now for the inside perspective on that Envy win, let's check in with Azael, who's standing by for an interview with Envy's AD carry.
Thanks, guys. I'm here with Laud, and you guys have had a hell of a start to this split. You talked about wanting to prove yourself. Obviously, there's a lot more games to play, but how does it feel to have this kind of a start in the LCS?
It feels great. I mean, we didn't get to boot camp in Korea or anything. We kind of got together as a team like a week or two before the split started, and we haven't had much time to like synergize and stuff, but I think we're doing really good so far, so I'm really happy.
Yeah, so Seraph has talked a lot about like how happy he is with this roster, how happy he is with the team. It seems like you guys are getting along really, really well. What do you think has been the biggest key to your success so far?
I think just everybody on the team is like mechanically extremely good, and we all just know exactly what we need to do. I feel like I can trust every single one of my teammates in every game. Even if I'm picking like a losing lane, I can trust the rest of the map to do well. So I think just everybody is really proficient.
Awesome. So talking a little bit about the mid-season changes, what do you think is the hardest thing to adapt to for pro teams with this change? Do you think it's the Dragon change? Do you think it's all the new champions, new items? What has it been for you and your team?
I think just the biggest thing was like the Dragon changes. You know, you have to choose whether you like prioritize Dragons or prioritize Herald. Herald kind of got changed a lot, so it's more of like a split pushing objective, and you have to sacrifice a lot to get it. Like we even died taking it that game, you know. And there's times where like, you know, normally you would just say like don't fight until second or third dragon, but if there's like 2 Infernal Dragons in a row, you kind of are forced to fight. So you really have to just be good at adapting in game, depending on which dragon spawn.
Do you think that leads you to wanting to draft more like early game team fighting type comps?
Yeah, I would say definitely. It's a lot more helpful to have like a strong early game comp because you want to be ready to contest like almost every single dragon. You know, it might be a wind dragon, it might be fire, like you just never know. So, yeah.
Awesome. Well, thank you very much, and congratulations once again. A great start here for Envy. Can't wait to see what they're going to do with the rest of the split. Back to you guys at the desk, Dash.
Thank you very much, Azael. I want to just jump on and piggyback onto that last question there about the toughest changes for the teams to adapt to, and for Envy specifically, they're looking at the Dragons. And we've had a lot of discussion around Dragons and dealing with kind of that RNG factor. How do we know, or how are we prepared to fight for whatever Dragon might show up? And earlier today, we had an example of a team gifted Infernal Drakes. Great, we're getting a ton of combat stats, a ton of combat stats. Here, though, we get the complete opposite. We've got a team that has a pretty solid lead in the beginning, and if they had gotten 3 Infernal Drakes in a row, probably would have had the easiest of times closing out that game. Instead, 2 Oceans followed by 2 Cloud Drakes, and all of a sudden they're like, where are our combat stats? Please, let us, even Mountains. We'll take Mountains. Let us push turns down.
They're running this extremely bursty comp with like Lysandra Graves cast, and they're trying to delete somebody, and it's like, oh man, that Cloud Drake
But we got that
topping me
regen.
off.
Yeah, we can chase them down with this Cloud Drake with all of our gap closers.
As long as Ezreal doesn't Q us.
Yeah. No,
we got Ocean to sustain the Ezreal poke.
You know, it's a very interesting thing. I think we'll see how the discussion develops over the coming weeks as the teams themselves figure it out, because it does seem that there's still even a little bit of uncertainty around, like, how do we craft comps that will be able to compete for these dragons in the early and mid games, because we don't know which ones will show up.
Exactly. The way he said it there was like, you know, you kind of have to take something that's at least competent in the early mid game, because you can't afford to risk running into a situation where it's just Infernal, Earth, or something like that, and you're so far behind in terms of like the free stats. And it was kind of the case here where, like, you know, Envy's comp is ready to go probably by like that second dragon. Luckily, they got an advantage. Not luckily, they got an advantage in the early game, and so they were able to grab all of them, but they didn't get any help from the dragon. The dragon was not pulling its weight.
Right.
I think one of the most consistent things you can rely on is, regardless of if you get the worst dragons ever, the one thing you can rely on is when that Elder Drake comes around, regardless of how bad the buffs could be or how good they could be, if you can build up towards that Elder Drake, you can just mow down everything after that.
Yeah, that's a very good point. I mean, we can't forget the fact that they were holding on to 4 Drakes, and so if they did secure Elder Dragon to follow that, again, that's an insane amount of damage that they're afforded now in any poke opportunity, in any team fight opportunity.
And like we're kind of underplaying the value of some of these dragons. So like the Ocean one, if you're in they didn't have a tank in that comp. If they're trying to do anything around Baron and they take some damage, it's going to be immensely useful there, because they get healed up, whereas normally you might have a tank who can just be like, it doesn't hurt me that bad. But here, squishy your team, the heal will help.
Right. This is to say, dragons weren't the only way that Envy ended up taking this series 2-0 over Team Liquid. I do want to dive into this game a little bit specifically, though, and talk about the early kills that went over to Kassadin. We have a replay of that. We're going to dive right into it, but 2 kills going over to Kassadin, as well as 1 over onto that Lysandra for Seraph. I mean, this just kind of set Envy up to make any moves around the map they wanted to after this fight.
This is an instance where they had a really good engage by map, but they split targets. The Kindred went on the Zyra, and then Phoenix missed some of his damage on the Lucian, so he ends up living through the Kindred all, and then they get just chased down and killed. And I know this is something Dyrus wanted to talk about, because even if they got that initial kill, it wasn't going to turn out well.
Right, so even if you got that initial kill, it was a nice engage by Matt, but it was the timing of where the side waves are. The way I believe the game should be played is off of side lanes. For example, Lorlo was pushed in there. Even if they got something good off of that, they would still get chased down by Kassadin and Lysandra.
Right.
And the lane would be slowly pushing towards Lysandra, and once Lysandra's done fighting, he goes back to the top lane, gets all this farm. And it happened twice that game, where it's like, all right, I'm going to TP when all this farm is at my tower, try to fight, and if we lose, we're screwed. But if we win, we're still like kind of even.
Right, exactly. Yeah, even if you win, you're still losing a bunch of CS to the turret, so you're not necessarily giving yourselves too many opportunities to come out in the black, in the positive.
Yeah, I mean, it was not just that example too. It was over the course of both games, you saw these kind of questionable decisions where, you know, at one point they were contesting a dragon. It wasn't a very important dragon. They have no Kindred ult, and they have a wave pushed into them top. Just deal with your waves. It's another Cloud Drake. All right, you just have to worry about the Infernals now. And they just they tried to go to the dragon, and they tried to go up mid, and
yeah. Like, just decide on one decisive thing, and that's it. They could have went down mid, had Lorlo go top, maybe get the tower, and then get out. Because during that time, they didn't have Kindred ult.
Let's take a look at Team Liquid a little bit, because we did have some questions around how the roster move would affect them coming into today. I mean, you lose Dardoch, one of the best early game junglers in the league. Last split, you replace him with Moon. You know, not to say the Moon didn't make appearances around the map, but as a whole, the team seemed a lot more disjointed. Definitely didn't seem to be, as you mentioned, just in that replay, the fact that they split focus and realizing that has nothing to do with Moon necessarily. I mean, Matt making the initiation, but still disjointed, not really operating on the same page, whereas Envy looks a lot more like a well-oiled machine.
I think Moon performed fine in the laning phase. I think he picked up both, or was involved in both First Bloods, and they were off like, you know, pretty aggressive ganks, and they looked fine there. But once the team transitioned into this like group decision making, you could see that they were just not on the same page. And I wouldn't say, Dardoch was like the main shot caller of that team, but he was very vocal in what he wanted to do. And I think they lost some direction with him.
Yeah, once it got to mid-game, I wasn't sure what they wanted to do. It was just not playing the map as well as Envy.
Yeah, so definitely going to have some work to do on that, at least makeshift roster for now. Back over to Envy, though, I want to close out our thoughts on them and this series. They now move to 2-0 in the split, given that they played Energy yesterday. I do think that we might have to temper expectation a little bit, given the fact that their wins come over Energy, a very clearly struggling Energy, and Team Liquid, who is hurting for their main starters. So your final thoughts on Envy as a team as they make their debut here in the LCS?
They definitely exceeded expectations, but the true test will be when they play against C9, Immortal, CLG, and finally TSM.
Yeah, raid boss TSM at this point.
Yeah, I think they are very clearly individually talented and they have good teamwork. The question is what happens when they match up against people who are also, in their element. So those, like you said, top teams, and if they'll get outclassed.
And the player leading the charge, who also receives our player of the game for the series yet again, Seraph, is going to take this one. I mean, that guy has just been an absolute monster for the team so far in the few games that we've seen on that Lysandra. Again, not afraid to make plays. He has those very unique champion picks as well that he can pull out at any time. So really, his pool has been expansive. His play style has been expansive. He's been a leader and a shot caller for the team. Just a well-rounded player to kind of head up this Envy roster.
Yeah, I think he's definitely been the most explosive player for them. He's usually the one who's kind of leading the charge in his engages. He's getting a lot of leads on his own in certain matchups. Yesterday against Quasi he did very well. So he's definitely a player to keep your eye on. Pick him up in your fantasy leagues if you haven't.
Yeah, I'm extremely impressed with how Seraph is playing, because if you compare him to back then to now, he's just a complete monster.
Totally different player.
Yeah, he's just like, I wouldn't be able to tell you that that's the same person from today. Like, if I told you back then, it's like, in 3 years, this kid is going to be a monster. He's going to crush everyone. He's going to prove everyone wrong, and he's going to get in your face and maybe not shake your hand for DMing, but something like that.
But I'm very happy to see that he has grown to such a great degree. Well, with that, after 2 days of LCS action, the standings are starting to take shape. Leading the pack, we have Team Envy alone in first place, with Apex, Echo Fox, and TSM tied for second. Immortals is in 5th, with Cloud9 right behind in 6th. Counterlogic Gaming is tied for 7th, with FLICKR and Liquid following behind. And Energy, with them all. And then Energy lands at the bottom with that 0-2 of the standings. Now, we still have one more day of LCS action headed your way, with 4 more series tomorrow afternoon. Be sure to tune in to NALCS1 to see Apex face off against Counterlogic Gaming, followed by Echo Fox versus Cloud9. Over on NALCS2, TSM will get a shot against Liquid just before FLICKR takes on Immortal. So, gentlemen, with these games in mind, what are we looking forward to tomorrow? We've got plenty of fun ones on the docket.
I want to see CLG play again. I think they didn't look that great versus TSM. I don't think that's, very indicative of their skill level overall. They might be having a little bit of a, post-MSI hangover where a lot of teams took some time off and then hit the ground running. They kind of did it reverse, where they worked really hard, kept working, and then had a break. So I think seeing them, hopefully they get a win at some point, because I think they're a lot better than they showed.
Particular team that you're looking forward to looking?
Personally, I'm looking forward to every single team, because best of 3 format just seems so fun. And as for CLG, it did show that it felt like that they were less hungry because they've already got second at MSI. They beat TSM, and all the other teams went to Korean boot camp, so giving them the benefit of the doubt there.
Yeah, well, perhaps the loss yesterday will kind of reignite that fire, and they'll come back swinging tomorrow. I'm kind of with you. I'm excited to see all of the games, mostly because I want to see how the standings begin to shake out and we get more like relative strength of teams, because it's very hard to tell right now when you've got Cloud9 playing Immortals and then you've got some of the newer teams playing makeshift rosters, and so where does everyone actually stand? We'll be excited to see how all that plays out. That's going to wrap up our show today. I'd like to extend let me start over. That's going to wrap up our show today. I'd like to extend a special thank you to our guests, analysts, Mark and Dyrus. And on behalf of myself, the casters, and the entire live broadcast crew, thank you for tuning in, and we'll see you mañana.
Teams are getting ready to lock in their champion selections.
As we get into game, the battle arena is on fire and we're ready to get in. With his distortion, that's the quadra kill for Jensen.
Nice.
Nice. Drop. Brought you back.
Oh, yes.
Bam.
Awesome. Good job.
KFO goes off in the back end of that game.
If you're still one of the top at what you do, you should just keep doing it.
Duvar is donezo, maybe. Oh, gets a stun. Oh my gosh, you're kidding me. He lives.
They give him so much respect. Meteos with the spike down on Elder. The Chaos Storm coming out of Pobelter gives him the double kill, looking for Meteos on the triple. And Immortals will take down Cloud9 for their first series of the summer split.
Whether it's Kiwi Kid.
Oh, wow.
That process, a knockups there as well. Oku's going to die. Apex in their first series of the LCS come out with a 2-0 win.
Orlo, it goes too deep. He's going to pay the price, and Matt drops.
No one claws down.
Oh, his last,
And they still got him.
Bottom. Finish it. Nice.
I get injured. Yeah,
Nice.
injured. We got Baron. Nice.
Dominating performance from Envy. Undefeated in week 1 of the North American LCS.